it's incredibly dangerous. I don't know. It was probably the scariest thing I've ever videoed in my entire life.
And his exact instructions to me were like, come up this hill towards me, and I want it to be going fast, and you get kind of close to me.
If you could have any person in the motocross world come sit down, talk with you, be on a podcast, who is it going to be?
Trying to help businesses stay open during COVID that couldn't open. So all that perfect timing got me into dirt biking and racing. And then he didn't even dab a foot. He went right up all of them, and not just went up it, turned around, came right back down all of them, like riding stoppies and just it's like ridiculous.
So you guys gonna show me the real course or what?
I know, dude. He was doing laps on it. We're like, oh my God, I'm happy to get up at once in a week. What's up, guys? My name's Sam here at Spectruss. I got Zach here with me. We are launching a podcast room. This is not it. I mean, we'll probably film some in here too, but this is my personal office. You might be able to see from one of the back cameras. But basically, we're just going to kind of kick this off talking about something I love dearly, which is Spectruss Racing. I love Spectruss too, so don't get me wrong. Spectruss is great. Love all you clients out there. Everyone works at Spectruss. That's awesome. But I love Spectruss Racing especially, mainly because it's something else to look at besides just marketing advertising that makes most people want to punch babies or glass over because we're talking about data and all this funnels and blah, blah, blah bullshit, which is very important for business, but people get tired of it. So we thought we'd start with something fun today. We got some B-roll footage that Zach took. We can maybe talk about that, or some fun times capturing a little bit of B-roll from racing, riding dirt bikes. But Zach, I figured I'd just challenge him with asking me questions about Spectruss Racing, and so that way, I'm always in the racing mindset, and some of the stuff might just be obvious to me, and maybe some of you people out there, if you're listening, watching, or interested.
Interesting is a good word, because there's a lot to the racing behind the scenes that I really never knew, and so it's kind of cool that I get to ask you some questions about it, because it's a new world, and it is very exciting. So like really my first, and such an easy question, but is like, why Spectruss Race? Like what got you into racing? Because it's honestly, in my opinion, it's incredibly dangerous. I don't know. You guys are like going up rocks, falling off rocks. Like what got you see that? What got you into that world?
Yeah, great question. So, originally I was racing bicycles back in the day. Mountain bikes initially. I started racing about 12, 13 years old, and then into road bikes, mainly because I wanted to try to make a profession out of it. And so raced that at a professional level, lower professional level, and then the housing market crash hit, and that kind of like wiped out a lot of my chances and had some bad crashes. I'm like, you know what, I need to actually work on making money as opposed to just playing around trying to race. So a lot of that transferred over, and then midlife crisis, whatever you want to call it, combined with COVID and everything else, like I needed something to do, and bought my first motorcycle ever back at the end of 2019, luckily right before COVID hit, and did my first race I think 2 months before COVID hit. I bought a 250 XCW KTM and just fell in love instantly because it was a lot like mountain biking, but even better because
faster.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some things on a mountain bike, especially I raced downhill mountain biking for a while, and you can haul ass on that. Okay. It's completely, in a lot of ways, that's even more dangerous. We can get into that later, but you don't have the inertia because your bike's lighter. So mountain bike's like 30 pounds. But
I see.
So transferred over, got me into dirt bikes. COVID hit. I mean, we downsized a lot, like so many of the businesses out there. Went through a bunch of rough times, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like, I want to really see what I can do with this dirt bike, And luckily, we had a lot of great accounts that stuck around with us, that kept us going, and a lot of those same accounts are still with us as we're not back growing the last few years. But it was kind of perfect time for me because there I was, like mid 30 years old. I wanted something to really like sink my teeth into besides just like going into the trenches every day trying to help businesses stay open during COVID that couldn't open. So all that perfect timing got me into dirt biking and racing. And then 5 years later, I don't know how many races I've entered now, but I'd say, I don't know, somewhere between 50 to 100 races since then. Hard enduro, enduros, hare scrambles, all on the off-road part. I still haven't got any sort of track stuff, like motocross. That scares the shit out of me. All those big, it's just so committal, But
right.
Anyway, that's how I got into it.
Yeah, interesting, cool. It's fascinating because you've been in it since 2019. So it's only been about 5 years, 6 years now, I guess. But you've actually accomplished a good amount of feats in this Spectruss Racing, because I mean, I've seen your walls. You got trophies, you got a bunch of awards. So like, it's not really a question. I guess I'm just saying you definitely are super into the space. Thanks. So I guess it's like, why tie it in with Spectruss? Why is Spectruss Racing?
Well, first, tax write-off.
Bam. Heck yeah.
Not supposed to say that probably. IRS is like, dang, let's go mess this guy up
yeah.
right now. No, it's marketing advertising for us, so it is a tax write-off technically, like so many other companies that invest in, advertising of various kinds. And when it comes to racing,
Right.
So whenever you go to these stadiums, whenever you look at the NASCARs and everything else, like they've got all these brands on it that are looking for eyeballs. Now, of course, I'm not a NASCAR racer at any level like that. I'm a middle-aged man trying to race A class, and if any of my buddies are listening to this, they're going to be like, yeah, whatever. We've seen Sam crash all over the place. They'll probably be like, Sam should take his own company off of there because we see him do some stupid shit all the time on it. But it's mainly because marketing advertising is a commodity.
Yeah.
I mean, it's when I first started this thing 13 years ago, there were very few, well, I shouldn't say very few, there's maybe, I don't know, exact number, I'm guessing a few thousand, 3,000 to 5,000 digital agencies in the United States at that point. Now on every street corner, there's a digital agency. You can find people living in their mom's basement, which is the negative connotation to what we do. So I need something else to look at and to stand out.
Got it.
So if we're just posting the same old tips and tricks, like, did you know you can optimize your email campaign sequence? Blah, 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 blah. Your open rate's this, or SEO. You need that, and you got to know that. But this is something else to look at that has the brand on there that makes us stand out. You know, and some people connect with it. Either way, like usually when it's like how Red Bull, like they put their name on everything that you can't look away from. It's like people jumping off of high dives, off of cliffs, doing backflips, or I mean, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Formula One and rally cars and dirt bikes. So that was a similar sort of idea. Like at least it's something that people hopefully look at. I mean, it's part of marketing advertising.
No, I love it. I mean, it is really cool. Funny story, because walking into the office, I see the Spectruss Racing sticker.
On the
I've seen it. Like I've seen it yesterday for the first time. Like, that's Spectruss Racing.
Yeah.
It's hilarious that it's like you guys have it there. But it is a cool brand, and it is super exciting. Motocross is definitely a new world for me, but it is very fun and engaging content, which is, being a videographer, I think that's something I can relate to.
Yeah.
It's fun stuff to watch, and I think it's a cool way to really engage with, customers. And I think we live in Tennessee. All of my buddies, they grew up riding dirt bikes, not at that level, but I'm sure it's still like, it relates to a lot of people in a cool way. So I think it's cool that it gets to like personalize Spectruss.
Yeah, absolutely. What we do at the end of the day is we have to build relationships. And that sounds so cheesy. I feel like I'm reading a post on a LinkedIn, a LinkedIn post, or everyone's talking about synergy and moving forward and all this stuff, which again makes me want to punch babies. But we have to build relationships, and that's the only way we're going to be able to stay afloat as a marketing company, and if we're not building relationships and we're just selling then like commodity-based pricing, then it's just going to be the lowest price wins. But now especially everyone talks about AI, right? Like it's like the .com thing again, and now it's AI is the buzzword. And it is important though, because AI can do a lot of this stuff, but at the end of the day, it can replace a lot of the things that used to take a person to do them in the past. But they're still going to need a relationship with someone who has decades of experience.
Right.
Bring all this together, because marketing advertising is very complicated. It's always changing. You can go read this stuff in a textbook and come out and know nothing. Like the people that come out, they interview, they're like, we have this marketing degree from some really high-end pretentious school. I'm like, well, great, you really don't know shit, because the time it took them to print that book, get it on a shelf, launch it, everything's changed. Like what was cool last month is not cool now. And so you still have to have someone you can trust, and there needs to be a relationship there. And this is just... It's a transparent look into my life, because I want to build relationships for our clients. I want them to trust us. Of course, I want them to like us, the no trust like that people have heard in the sales realm for so long.
Yeah.
And so the racing's a way for people to get to know, hopefully like me, and then, eventually hopefully trust me.
Right. Yeah, no, it makes total sense. I mean, sharing your hobbies, and I think that's important to a partnership. It's almost like a friendship. You care about each other, so it's like, this is something you care about, and it's honestly, it's just super fun. So it's like, what do you expect? Well, or what? Let me rephrase it. What kind of content are you looking forward to, like maybe showcasing on Spectruss Racing?
Man, I've always liked, so one thing I did before I even started, originally was Silvey development. And we'll get into this in a later podcast about how transition to business names and how we got to Spectruss. But when I started in 2012, before I started in 2012, like my first official office space to build out, I did a lot of photography and some videography as well, and got into more videography later as we started expanding that. But a lot of photography on rope. So a lot of the climbing guides, the old school ones here in town, I shot a lot of the photos. Some of them, the majority of the guidebook, I shot those on rope. hanging on rope, waiting for a cool sunrise light, researching how the sun will be at certain times of day, and playing with all the aperture of the cameras and learning inside and out, like how all that stuff works.
Right.
And I really love that. I love landscape photography, action photography. So part of Spectruss Racing is I kind of geek out too on the imagery I want to capture.
I see.
And I want to bring some, like, we just got some Insta360 cameras to test.
Right.
I would love to get better footage of that. One thing that's always challenging with dirt bike racing, and even mountain biking as well, is it tends to flatten everything out. So what you're seeing from that camera angle of like the first person view, you're like, well, that's not hard to ride. I mean, I do it myself. Like I'll watch a YouTube video on an upcoming race and they'll be like, especially if it's a high level pro, like a Graham Jarvis or Manny Lettenbichler riding it. And they make it look so easy. Even the camera makes it. And then I show up to the race course, wherever it is. And I'm like, holy shit, these boulders are huge. Like I can't go over this shit. So long answer short, I like to showcase some cool video work, hopefully, some cool content, and then I would love, of course, selfishly, to have some great race results. I turned 40 this year. I've got a bunch of goals. I've already missed one of them. I was supposed to be at King of the Hammers last week, racing King of the Motos, and had truck issues. Scared to drive a truck. It was throwing an injector 32 hours across the country for it. But I've got some other big races I'm going to try to hit and make my 40th year of racing. Hopefully, just check it off, bucket list items.
Nice.
And then,
Well, you've been crushing it, and I don't doubt it for a second. Let's end it with a fun one. Like, if you could have any person in the motocross world come sit down, talk with you, be on a podcast, who is it going to be?
That's a good question. Well, I'd say, like one of the greatest, and really, it's not really a motocross. So a lot of people with motocross are going to call that like, the big jumps and stuff. You hit the tracks. And so like off-road racing, more on like the enduro, hard enduro side. Since I'm more on the hard enduro, so, hitting the creek beds and all that stuff. Like Graham Jarvis he's the GOAT in our industry. He's the Tom Brady. I got to spend a few days riding with him last year. He came into Chattanooga because we have the hard enduro national championships. It's also one of the stop of the West Series, the only North American stop. It's 45 minutes from the office here in Sequatchie Valley. So luckily, we get the best pros in the whole world that come over here, and we got to ride with a bunch of them last year, and Graham actually stayed at a buddy's house of mine on the back of Signal. So my buddy Travis and I and some of the people showed him around and just gave him a private tour on all our trails. That's a whole nother podcast story, but basically the short of that was all the things that we thought were hard, like all of our hardest trails we built with like crazy waterfalls, jumping up. Dude, he didn't even dab a foot. He went right up all of them, and not just went up it, turned around, came right back down all of them, like riding stoppies, and just it's like ridiculous.
So you guys can show me the real course or what?
I know, dude. He was doing laps on it. We're like, oh my God, I'm happy to get up it once in a week. I would say interview him, but funny enough, Graham's a man of few words. So the interview would last about 30 seconds, and that would be it. He'd be like, yep.
That's great. Hey, you ask him questions about hard enduro. I'm sure maybe we can get some words out of him. But so Graham.
Otherwise, if I had to pick someone that I know would actually talk a lot, and I feel like either Manny Lettenbichler or Billy Bolt, both of them, I feel like we could probably start drinking and have a good time talking shit about stuff. One of those two guys. They seem like fun guys. They like to party and have a good time. And
I can see it. No, 100%.
Off-road racers are a little more chill. Like the motocross, supercross guys, they're real just high-strung. They're like the fighter jet pilots, and like off-road with enduro, especially hard enduro, we're more like the laid-back, maybe smokes stuff and, have fun. So I think it'd be more fun interviewing the hard enduro guys.
Heck yeah. Well, cool. Well, that's Spectruss Racing. That answers a lot of my questions. I'm sure we're going to get through more of the meats and bones of it in later episodes, but is there anything else?
I do have one more thing, and I don't want this to go too long and just bore the shit out of everyone the first one. But what were your thoughts when you were filming that B-roll footage? We might have someone here. There's one frame in particular. Like, how did you feel? Because you're like, I want you to come up this hill. And his exact instructions to me were like, come up this hill towards me, and I want it to be going fast, get kind of close to me. And I want to preface this story with the shot or two before this. We were in a creek bed. And this was slow speed in the creek bed, but I was trying to go past him, and the front wheel just caught this slick ledge. It's in a creek with water flow. And it just totally hit him, luckily slow. But that set it up to where he was thinking already, like, maybe Sam doesn't have as good of control of his bike is what I'm thinking. And then...
and I don't learn my lesson because then I said, let's do it again. And are we talking about the one where you went super fast past me.
And I think it was fourth gear pinned on the back wheel, and
Yep.
you barely caught. Like I was on the back wheel passing you, but
Yep.
the frame kind of gets me pulling up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. No, so there's a few cool shots. I think this is honestly one of my favorite shots I've ever really gotten because it's honestly super cinematic in the world of videography. But there's a few. Honestly, the one that sticks out to me more is I wanted you to really just trailblaze it, just go as fast as you can past me. And I couldn't really see you because you're at the down bottom of the hill, but I knew you were gonna pass this thing. That was probably the most, like, that really threw me into gear of how fast these things go because, like, I was like, yeah, he's just going to be, like, right. But, I mean, you're still, like, a foot away from me. But it was probably the scariest thing I've ever videoed in my entire life.
I feel like and if we play this, they see it. It doesn't look as close as what I know it was.
Yeah.
Because I probably put the right side of the handlebar about 12 to 16 inches off the side of your body at probably 45 miles an hour on the back wheel, like
100%.
Fourth gear screaming. And I came back around and I was like, how was that? And you're like,
very good. Let me check the footage. Yeah. No, it was funny enough. I think the shot came out pretty sick. I think you can see me jerk just a little bit because I was like, I almost shit myself, honestly. I was really close to, but it was actually a really cool shot. But yeah, I'm gonna play it on screen for sure and see if we can see it. But super sick. It's super fun. And honestly, I don't know if when you're riding it, does it feel like you're going that fast? Because I know you're with it, but for me, it was literally half a second. Like, I mean, you can hear the motorbike go by. It's just like I could have died, but
yeah, I mean, it didn't feel fast to me because I had my eyes closed. To be honest.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that probably makes you go faster.
I just completely closed my eyes and I was like, Jesus, take the wheel. I hope I don't hit poor Zach. Yeah. But next time we're definitely going to put either a drone in the air or like another camera behind you. So
tripods, they make those.
Yeah.
I think that'd be good for that.
That way we can see if you shit your pants or whatever happens. 100%. We can capture it all.
No, it's fun. It's really fun. It's a cool world, so it's fun it makes it easy to videotape because there's a lot of fun activities and just maybe we get you to start doing some. We actually did do some jumps with you, some baby jumps over that one pile of wood. So we'll just keep pushing you and maybe one day get you falling off and be okay, but it'll be cool for video.
Yeah, jumps. I mean, for the off-road guys, like. I don't come from motocross back. We get 3 inches of air. We're like, oh my God, I need a drink, So those are, there's some stuff we hit, but it's funny you get the motocross, supercross guys come over, and they're used to just launching these massive triples or quads or whatever. Right. I mean, you get them on anything slick in the woods or fruits, and some of them can still do well. We're still awesome riders, but you kind of see them fall apart. Yeah. But you get us on a motocross track there's still some great guys that cross over. You get me on a motocross track, and it's like, oh my God, this is terrifying. Get me out of here. So
it's weird. Because they're both scary to me, but it makes sense.
Different types of scary, I guess.
100%. Yeah. Well, cool. First episode.
Check it off the list.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Next time we'll hopefully be in the new podcast room, have it looking really good. And, I mean, this is still cool, too. But we got a podcast room coming, and it's going to be badass.
Yeah. If you do cool things around the Chattanooga area, definitely need to sit you down and talk about it.
Hell yeah.
That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm. And we don't have to cuss in the official ones. We can be straight-laced and not talk about stuff that's not PC. We can be PC too.
Sweet. Ending a podcast is probably the hardest thing to do for me. So.
And done.
Yep. We're cut. All right. That's it. Oh crap! I wasn't recording.